I just want to touch on certain points on this the corrupt management and sale of the confiscated properties from Jammeh. And tomorrow I'll be on AG radios, Askani Gambia radios, to have a full interview to cover the entire saga. But what I want to do this afternoon, in brief, is to touch on certain main points that are very, very relevant to be cleared. I have seen the government coming out with a reaction without saying nothing absolutely. And Batamid coming out without saying nothing absolutely. Trying to baffle and throw sand in our eyes, actually. The coverage, I just want to give a background. I actually reported on the Alpha Kapita. This is about the way the contract was given, or a deal was signed between Alpha Bari, Binta Ceesay, and the government to deal with the properties, landed properties confiscated from Jammeh. And I did this early 2020. And now certain things I want to get back on for people to understand. It's purely corruption. And President Barrow himself should be held accountable. President Barrow is part of the deal. And it's part of the reason why Tambadu jumped the ship and resigned and went for a non-job. And I said that when Tambadu resigned. Initially, as now is very clear from the report from Republic, Alpha Baris registered a company in late 2017. And that company was only registered as a fraudulent vehicle to go for the Yaya assets. It's very important to take that, think about it properly. Alpha could have created a company. He had a company. He worked for a company, accounting company, consultancy and others. He could have created company. Why 2017? When in anticipation that he was going to give in a contract. Let me emphasize. A company 2017 just to deal with what? A contract coming from government and government assets. This is a vehicle they created to loot us. And why I want to emphasize on this, the heartlessness of these people who are supposed to be privileged, in average of Gambian population. Very privileged for them, not privileged, very privileged. The 0.1%, 0.5, whatever you call it, the 1% of population of Gambia, very privileged, with the education, with the professional career, with the financial this. At the time that we have victims of Jammeh and the entire country been victimized, and we are looking at how to rebuild our country, these people came together to loot as much as possible again. The future of our country. To loot the future of our country. They created this company 2017. What did I know at that time? When I came out, 2020, and I reported, 2019 actually, up to 2020, I continued, bash this thing, and many Gambians did not get it. And some Gambians were saying, oh, Tambadu is from a wealthy background. I am not going to go personal to discuss the wealth or lack of wealth and he's come from. But I know a lot more than those did not know. Let's leave that tonight. But some people assume that Tambadu was from a wealthy background. Others, especially activists, hail Tambadu as the champion of justice, the champion of transparency, and champion of everything. Because of Tambadu was their friend, or is their friend. They doubted the reports I was given. Even though it should not have taken them, it's not hidden for them to find out the facts. They have access to people who would have given them the facts. If they could not have the total facts, they would have seen the indicators from how it came about. Some simple question. How did Alpha Kapita get the contract? What's the relation between Alpha Kapita and Tambadu? What's the relation between Alpha Kapita and Binta Ceesay? Now, some people, the other issues is, people were asking, how can Ben know something that happened, within closed doors? Because many people don't understand how to seek information. You don't have to be present to get information. And what would be my motivation to come out and speak about something that's totally wrong or not true? Let me tell you what happened. The minute Binta Ceesay saw an opportunity that the TRRC, the Journey Commission was going into disposing properties, Binta Ceesay leached to Tambadu. You know, many people will see educated people or whatever you listen, but does not mean that they are sophisticated. What did Nongo say? Tambadu munkula, munku. Tambadu munkula, ewood. Binta Ceesay leached onto Tambadu. And when he leached onto Tambadu, what happened? Persuaded Tambadu that money would be made here. Let me emphasize this. For a young Gambian, Tambadu as a young Gambian, he's not the most educated lawyer, he's not the most qualified to get that job, but circumstances led him to get that job. And to be a justice minister in a transition is the most important job you can find in a government. In a transition, a justice minister and attorney general. Justice and attorney general. Most important. But because of his indiscipline, because of his lack of sophistication, he got leached on by Binta. And Tambadu then had the audacity to go to the president and propose this deal. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. The then finance minister. People know I don't agree with Mambo Njai most of the time, but I agree with him where he is right. The finance ministry, headed by Mambo Njai, objected to Tambadu taking over managing the assets. They made a point that the Minister of Finance is the chief accounting officer for the state. They should handle all these matters. Hence, they said, this property were not adjudicated at the Supreme Court, then they should have hold on to it. If it had been adjudicated at the Supreme Court, then the Sheriff Division of the Supreme Court had the oversight responsibility to deal with it. This was the argument from Finance Ministry. But you know, something Wolof said, su nit buggee daxaar te jinne bi nekk si kaw taati daxaar bi jinne bi bugga daxaar soo eegee di nga rot. Because Tambadu Binta Ceesay, two of them, Bartambid went with Binta Ceesay to Barrow. Now, people will ask, how would I know what they said there? That's for me to know. But I can tell you, if as early as 2019, I knew about it, and now it all corresponds from this Republic report. There's a way to find out information. They went there, and Bartambid made a case to Barrow. And when he made a case for Barrow, Bartambid proposed to Barrow the commissions, the cut they're going to make from this deal. Yes, Bartambid is absolutely corrupt. They all know how corrupt Barrow is. They proposed the deal to Barrow. Bartambid introduced Binta as a property salesperson and a friend. At that material time, Bartambid have already started dating Binta. But he introduced Binta to Barrow as a friend, a property sales thing. We can get her on, and so that we can get these properties and we can make millions out of the money. By this time, they already have Alpha Barry as registered the company as Alpha Kapita, because Binta does not have the capacity to run the show. He's already contracted Alpha Barry. Binta and Alpha knew each other very well. Now, it's not important for Bartambid to know Alpha, but Binta, and Bartambid knows Alpha very well. If Bartambid said, oh, I didn't know Alpha, that's a lie. I know that for certain. I have evidence of that. I know Bartambid knows not only Alpha, Alpha's family members and intermarriage and other relationships. And Alpha Barry is Auntie Fatmata Tambajang's nephew. You see? They all know each other. Now, when they struck the deal with Barrow, that's where they introduced Alpha Kapita. Already they have created Alpha Kapita 2017, and now they got the deal. Then this is the time they went to cabinet. If Bartambid said that this was approved by cabinet, it's because that after they broke their deal, they went to cabinet. And I can tell you one thing. Cabinet is technically a rubber stamp, just as our parliament is a rubber stamp. When they propose this to cabinet, if any minister proposes anything to cabinet and they know that Barrow have a buy-in into it, because the ministers, they deal with rumors or behind the scenes. Before a white paper is introduced in cabinet, they will know who have a buy-in in it. They would hardly challenge. They would hardly challenge anything in cabinet. It's rubber stamp. Because of Barrow already had a buy-in in it. Now, question this. First instance, what happened? Augustus Prum was holding some of the assets already recovered from Barrow. The Janet Commission have negotiated with Augustus Prum to lower Augustus Prum charges up to about 3% or less than 5%. Now, why would you take the? Why can't you contract even if the initial how to call it contract you have with Augustus Prum expired? Why not renew it, or why not open it to other bidders? Or if you are giving it to any other competent these things, should have been at the same terms or lower terms. But we'll explain the terms that they did their deal. When they did this deal, that's when they went on to do their, I mean, deals. And I'll say one thing. What appeared in the Republic is not conclusive. There's so much we don't know as per now. Now, until a competent authority, not under Barrow. There's no authority under Barrow that will investigate and tell you the facts, because if Barrow is complicit, Barrow is complicit. We'll find out the rest. But I will touch on some of it just to point to, to prove evidence. What Tambadu said is a lie, that he have never done anything to personally benefit. It's a lie. Now, when they did this, by 2020, when I started to agitate, something else happened. Some of the people who were against Tambadu taking this deal, they run to Barrow. They said to Barrow that, you see, we did advise you not to give this deal to Tambadu and Binta. They told Barrow that Tambadu lied to you. Tambadu lied to you. Binta is Tambadu's girlfriend, mistress. He introduced our friend Tambadu is a mistress, and they have benefited far more than you have in this deal. You know, the only time Barrow will show his passion is when he's sitting down after eating his supper and grills and everything, watching Arsenal, or when you personally hold him accountable, or when you take money that he's expected to receive. That's the only 3 times that you see any passion in Barrow. Barrow hit the roof. Barrow summons Tambadu's brother, Sirif Tambadu, to the State House and hit the roof and said to him, your brother disappointed me. Your brother disappointed me. And Barrow counted certain things, but the most this thing is said he brought Binta Ceesay here and said that Binta was his friend, but now I know they have a relationship, and they robbed me from the deal we had. This is when Tambadu started to look for a job to jump. The other 2 reasons that made Tambadu to jump, now the other things he advised Barrow, he cannot deal with it. It was the draft constitution 2020. Because Barrow did not want the draft, and Tambadu did not want to go to parliament, to do what Dawda had to do in order to stop the draft. The second thing was the implementation of the TRRC report. These 2, but another factor was that he fell out with Barrow because he robbed Barrow. Tambadu went and looked for this job. As I said, the most important job in the government of a transition is the Minister of Justice, but not only justice and Attorney General. Why would you leave that job for a 2-year term or 3-year term as a registrar? As a registrar. As a registrar. Tambadu, during his time of minister, he have not spent a week in the Gambia without traveling. He have not spent a week without traveling. He has so much per day. He has so much, this is. But should be the importance of that job, the history, this thing. But he jumped because of Barrow have found him out. Now, when I came out and reported this, Tambadu went and threatened me. He went to a friend of mine and said to that friend that I am insinuating that he is in a relationship with Binta Ceesay. For the point here, Binta was my classmate. I am just a year older than Binta. Was my classmate in primary school. I know Binta's grandfather is my father's friend. I know Binta's father, mother, brothers, and everybody. I will not lie about anything. for anybody, especially someone that I grow up with, someone that our families know each other. Tambadu went to my friend and threatened that if I don't pull down the article, he was going to sue me in UK here. For the respect I have for the friend. And the friend was concerned because he said, Ba is serious. Can you just check your source back? Because he said, and Ba was more particular about me insinuating, because I didn't even write in the article that they were in a relationship. I said they are friends because I don't like going into people's private life. What did he said, and my friend was really worried to the extent that my friend called other friends. We had a meeting. I said to them, I am confident of what I'm saying. Not only that they are friends, they are in a relationship. And I said to them, just step back, let me deal with Ba. I wrote a letter and sent it to the friend. WhatsApp, the friend sent it to Ba. I said to Ba, my allegations or my statement was made in the open. Can you please take the intermediary out of it and take me on in the open? And if you threaten to go to court, please go to court. But be ready to disclose your true relationship with Binta Ceesay. I said to him, be ready. Ba backed off. He backed off. Now, I'll come back to this. Imagine this. You took your girlfriend. You were not supposed to handle this. The justice minister was not supposed to handle accounting business. That's for the finance ministry. The only motivation that Alpha Barry created a company was to create a vessel 2017 to deal with the loot. They were going to loot. Binta used her sexuality in order to entrap Tambadu because Munkula. Tambadu Ewood. Munkula. And went to the president who is corrupt as the core. Barrow was corrupt during the impasse now and was now. And they made their deal. And when they made their deal, now imagine this. They have a 10% cut. And do you know who pays for the expense of the business? The government was paying from the proceeds. They have their 10% upfront. Government was paying for the cost of the operation. You know, if you did not work it out, I am not an accountant, but I can tell you, if you don't work it out right, a contract, you let someone to charge you operations, that person can manipulate and even get more out of the deal. And they did not. And they did not. Now, they have this, they have the operational cost be paid by government. Now, just imagine when people coming out of, they say that the coffers are empty. We have so much of victims. We have so much to deal with. These so-called elites, because elites supposed to be sophisticated people. They are not elites. They are greedy individuals, unpatriotic individuals. They went on to loot us. And the third thing is, do you know another way they loot us? The money was supposed to go straight to the central bank accounts. Guess what? They opened an account and that's where they put the money. And they kept the money as long as they want, and they have not transferred the interest due to that money. They stole the interest as well. Just imagine what interest a bank would pay in the Gambia for hundreds of millions of dollars. They did not pay the interest. Now, that's one side of corruption. The other proof and evidence is here Later down the line, because that's, you see, when I emphasize here that Batamidu Munkula, because all the transaction and the proceeds, you see, the reason Batamidu is saying that I've never benefited personally, because of, if you go to his account, you'll find nothing. If you look at the properties they bought, you won't find his name. Because Binta control everything, Munkula. Binta control all the proceeds of their share, and his share and Binta's share. Obviously, Alpha will take care of his. Now, that shares, where did it happen? Where did it end up? Batamidu was held to ransom to marry Binta. Binta hold Batamidu to ransom to marry him. If not, nothing he would touch. I'm not going into the background of Binta, but people that know the background would know, understand what happened here. He held him to ransom in this Kahuls. Now he had to marry Binta. He married Binta. Now, is not that not an evidence that they were going out during the course of this transaction? Now, if you take a government contract and went to the president, who is absolutely corrupt and incompetent, and allowed to give you a contract that you are not entitled to negotiate, the Minister of Finance is responsible. Is that not corruption? Is that not conflict of interest? Because you took your girlfriend and introduced your girlfriend as a friend. And the president authorized. And because of the presidents have authorized it, the parliament was incompetent to challenge it, because they know that what the president wants, that what they will do. They're not patriotic enough to challenge the president, that this is not right, sir. This is how he married Binta. And I'll come to that. And recently, when he was nominated for the ICJ job, I came out against it. I hammered him. He ran. This time around, he did not threaten legal action. He rallied around and went to many friends, trying to get me to forgive him and withdraw the articles. Because of, he said, this is my chance of getting the job. I told him, to hell with you and your job. You don't deserve it. You don't represent Gambia, you represent yourself. You loot us. You are absolutely corrupt. Let a foreigner have the job is better than you having the job. It's of no medicine. Now, let's look at the other issues here. The other issue is the property at Pipeline. The one they said that Jammeh took from them. Jammeh might use resources that he loot to buy it, but Jammeh did not force them. I am not going to go into detail of that, because there's a bit of embarrassment for Binta's former husband. But they are the one that went to Binta's Jammeh. That's how Jammeh knew about their problem. For Jammeh to bail them out. Because of they took a loan. And I can tell you why they took that loan. They took a loan and the property was at risk. Instead, Jammeh, instead of helping them out, Jammeh went and bought the property. And the international nannies, those people glorifying Jammeh, he bought a property and renovated and put his international nannies. He doesn't care about Gambians. Give them luxury. The international nannies were using the property. Now, when all this finished, we all saw the interventions. The Republic have delivered the deliberation on that. How they were intervening, going and coming, trying to get the property transferred back to Binta. The property is not transferred to the husband. The property is transferred to Binta. Binta's own children from the husband. And they used our money, they looted from us and bought the property again. Undervalue, 3 million. Now the same street, someone who knows about it said, there's a Gambian called late Buba Jammeh, musician from Bakau, from the Imam family, had a property in the same area of the same size with the property that they gave back to Binta. That property, when Buba Jammeh family in around 2020 put it into the market, according to this person who knows about this transaction, they put that property in the market for $10 million. And the difference is the Buba Jammeh property only have a line house, but it's the same size. But the property they gave back to Binta, was redeveloped by Yaya Jammeh. That's where the international nannies were living. Now, if at 2020, the property similar was valued or put into the market, I don't know how much it was sold, because that's another scam. Most properties, they tell you that how much it was sold in the Gambia is a lie. They always put the official price they accept. They put a price so that they will not pay the tax due. If we have a competent investigation, these people would rot in prison because of multiple ways they have turned around and did it to us. Now, they took that property. That property today, I have the photos. Binta Ceesay is building the properties. You think if the ex-husband had the property, Binta would go and invest and build the property? You think if Binta children from the husband were not the one giving the property or the names on the deeds, you think Binta would build that property? I don't want to go little bit to the ex-husband, nothing to do with him. But this is what transpired. The only reason I'm talking about this is because of what transpired. Our money. Our money. They have no right to rebuy that property at a giveaway price. They sold that. Yaya Jammeh bought that property legitimately with our money. It's our property. But Tambadu went to a length to pass the property back to Binta. Third one. Can you just imagine? Oh, again, Binta, the company is, I forgot the initial decision of company. Binta, I'm not going to go to what happens in Standard Bank, Standard Chartered. Those who know would know. That's why I said, Bata Medu Munku, Airwood. So Airwood, he will not get himself into this. Binta had a company before. It was a cleaning company. And now, because of now, they know that they're going for the loot with Tambadu. Alpha Barry had a company and everything. They created a vessel. Binta created that company in order. And Alpha Barry did the same thing. Now, can Gambians imagine? Why would Binta Ceesay, or any Gambian for that matter, be given land at the most prime locations in the Gambia, 6 hectares? This is what Tambadu tried to do. Now, if you went and took government business, a multi-million business, and give it to your girlfriend, and later you went and married that girlfriend and turned around to say that you have never done anything to personally benefit. Yeah, the only reason is now, because of a penny is not in Bar's account, no properties in Bar's names, everything's in Binta's. Binta's have it all. If Binta dump him today, he lose everything. The only claim there that he is benefiting because of the wife is holding it. But he would lose all if the wife dump him today. Now, the other bit, after one, you give him a multi-million contract, which they are fraudulently, undervaluing and doing all those things, denying us our tax. They were denying us the revenue due and everything else. You gave them a bad contract on our side, giving them 10% when other companies would do it for 3%. You are doing a bad deal on our side. You're giving them and then to calculate the operational cost, and we pay for that operational cost. What else would they do? What else service are they giving you? Now, the other bit is the land that he wanted to pass to Binta. That land, Yaya Jammeh demarcated that land and gave it to, I forgot the name of the company. I think it's it's a telecoms company. Iliman Cham was the CEO, a Gambian who used to work for Gamtok. For those people to bring their headquarters in the Gambia. And they never developed it. And it was re-entered to government. It's government land. Now, why would Tambadu use his position, Minister of Justice, Attorney General, to try to pass the 6 hectares to Binta? 6 hectares to Binta, or Binta's company. Binta, a mistress of his by at that time, but later who he went unmarried under duress. Why? If you are not corrupt, if you don't expect to benefit from the proceeds, conflict of interest is corruption. 6 hectares. And you see, I am not even gonna get to who even the land today, I mean, that's another investigation we are carrying now. Where did the land end up to? But because of pushback, Binta did not have the land. Binta was gonna have 6 hectares. Do we know how many million pounds, I mean, dollars that will be? That in that area? Does he have the capacity? No. This is how, again, that's another form of corruption. But as I said, I'm keeping it brief. Inshallah, tomorrow I'll be on, I would record with Alaji Salu on Askan Bay Radio. I mean, and 2 hours to cover all other areas. I'm just going to talk about Alpha, Kapita, and these properties. Now, the issue here is nothing will come out of this unless Gambians come out to the streets and demand this government to go, and something else will be put in place, and they will be all held accountable. Today, if there was anything like accountability, the Attorney General would have instructed the police to arrest, not investigate, arrest the entire group and then investigate. Because there's probable evidence. There is nothing like suspicion. There's any evidence out in the open. But if you have to arrest these people, then you have to arrest Barrow. That's why nothing will come out of it. That's why their press release and everything, nothing will come out of it. Until we organize ourselves and the opposition to make sure, not only the opposition to win an election, but the opposition that will dismantle the system. If not, nothing will come out of it. Because of Barrow should be held accountable. Barrow gave out the contract. Closed doors with Binta, Ceesay and Tambadu. And this is the reason why today we are still talking about this. To give you the example here, you see the report given about Suku Singate. Suku of this, just imagine, Suku Yaya Jammeh. Even during Yaya Jammeh time, Suku was robbing farmers for their groundnuts. Now the same Suku Singate is given hectares of land in Tanje. This government, since they came into being, they could have given hectares of land to Social Security to make it affordable for Social Security to build affordable housing. Because part of the cost why housing is not affordable to Gambians is because of the land. And you think that Suku Singate was given this land mercy? You think that Suku Singate is given to the land because of he supports Barrow? That's crap. Suku give it to Barrow because Barrow is going to get his percentage, his cut. if we understand how much Barrow and his cabal, his family make out of us. Right now, I give you an example. You know the reason Sadio Mbalo have a fan club? Because now Fatoumata Barrow does not have time on political issues in the Gambia. Fatoumata Barrow is spending more time in Lagos, in Togo, and in Benin. Why? They are moving their investments from Senegal, their assets from Senegal, and transferring. It's already given a land in Lagos State to build. They're preparing for their look. And it's not only that. United Kingdom here in the north of England, they are buying rundown properties and renovating it and putting it back to the market and flip it. Yes, the Barrow family is doing that. In Turkey, this Turkish company, part of the deal gave them houses now, apartments in Turkey, which now they put in on Airbnb. Amadou Sane, the nephew of Barrow, when I came out then again said that Mega Bank have given them given him 300 million. Guess what? He's bought a property in Canada for one wife. He's bought another property in America for the other wife. Someone that didn't have the education, have never sold even groundnuts, was living in a rented property in Bartres, Serekunda. The minute the uncle became a president, have access to the government bank to support him for over 300 million. And that 300 million to import commodities essential commodities we need. And he went and got a Mauritanian to become an operational manager. That Mauritanian got other Mauritanians, they opened shops in the Gambia. Instead of trading for prices to go down, instead of creating a company for youths or other Gambians to run, now a Mauritanian is running that 300 million of ours. Mohamed Ndiaye, who is that company, Food Security, where GPMB used to be, who is a son to Musa Ndiaye, who brought up Barrow. Go a place called Newtown South. Newtown South. There used to be a motel called Hideout, just by Hideout, not far from the Murid Mosque. He bought a property, and within 6 months, he built a property. And we all know the proceeds coming from where? Because a part of the deals they do is the Japanese rice and this Mega Bank deals with Amadou Sane, that Mohamed Ndiaye have a role in it. Bully, President Barrow's elder brother now is a millionaire. The President Barrow's sister, who is married to this IGP, that's why he put him as an IGP, they are millionaires. And none of these people have a capacity to be millionaire overnight. Sidinjai and others, they are all. Now, if we think that we can just talk about this and run, leave it to that, and for the so-called APRC supporters thinking that they have a leverage on this, Yaya Jammeh was a thief, Yaya Jammeh was broke before becoming president. Any amount of money he has, most of it is stolen. His salaries alone, his expenditure could not have. Yaya Jammeh bought a $600,000 property for a girlfriend. We have the evidence. In Reading, England here, Yaya Jammeh had a property there. And not only Reading, England, so many other properties. All those things, we had tax on them. Do you know why we are not going after the Yaya Jammeh properties in the outside? It's because of the deal Amadou Samba have with Barrow in Dakar during the impasse. That's why when I went after Barrow during the impasse, people thought something up. That's where they had the deal. You see the $900 million in the Panama accounts. In the Panama accounts, we never went for it. Where have you seen, even Ghana, a democracy? When they depose they depose the government, this present government is going after the former these things, outside. Every other government will do that. If you touch the Panama accounts, which is under Amadou Samba, you are touching, if you want to go after the properties outside, you have to go after Amadou Samba. And Amadou Samba have settled that with Barrow. That's why we are not going after it. Amadou Samba cannot justify any business in the Gambia to give him a savings of almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion. And that's just one savings. It's not about, he's not the properties he's got here or there. Yes, he was a successful businessman, but he was a rogue businessman. And who confessed to be Yaya Jammeh business manager. Now, if you want to go after Yaya Jammeh, you think the business manager would be spared? But Barrow made a deal. And he's got his court, and that court was an account he opened in Dakar while during the impasse. This is where our problem is. Now, ultimately, it's for Gambians to sort this out. They are all thieves. Gambians to sort this out, and we change the system. Thank you, guys. I want to leave it brief, but inshallah, tomorrow we'll have a 2-hour